Welcome into 2024. Thank you guys for checking out my first video of the year. I figured I'd start off this year by talking about a pretty popular topic, or always a topic of conversation that seems to come up around this time of the year. And that has to do with belt promotions. And is it normal to either pay for a belt testing fee? Is this good? Is it bad? Is it overcharging students? Kind of what is the take on this? And I think this always comes up around this time of the year for two reasons. One, because a lot of academies do end of the year kind of testing or promotions. So some of you guys may have gotten promotions, which congratulations, welcome into the new world of jiu-jitsu. And so what happens is that students kind of see the process that those students went through. Maybe they paid to be evaluated, or they went to some seminar and they got their belt, and there was a process that they went through to achieve that new rank. And so they start Googling stuff, they start researching different things, and they see differencing of opinions from maybe what their school is doing in person to what others are saying online. I even have this happen to me in my in-person students I see on every day. They maybe say, hey Chase, why do we do this when this guy online says this school does it differently? I want to answer all those questions today, maybe give some pros and cons. That way you as a student can make an informed decision. I don't really care what other school owners decide to do, because they're going to do what they're going to do. It's really about you as a student feeling like that you have as much information to make the most informed decision as possible. How's it going, everyone? My name is Chasen Hill. I'm a Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and I've been teaching and training now for over 14 years. So if you guys like all things jiu-jitsu, it's probably a pretty good channel for you guys to check out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Also hit that bell icon. That way you guys never miss the latest video whenever it comes out. My big goal for this year in 2024 is to grow this channel to over 10,000 subscribers. So if you could help me out, I greatly appreciate it. So one thing I want to get out of the way right now is, personally, I have been promoted with both the testing fee and the not testing fee, or belt fee, whatever you want to call it. I only did this for my blue belt, and that was because my blue belt was more of an assessment of my skill as a test. So it took about 2.5 hours. It was with a black belt level instructor. There were other instructors there, and there were other students, because I had to demonstrate moves and I had to do some rolling and we had to do some sparring. So to me, it wasn't that I paid for my belt, it was that I paid for the time of the instructor and for the evaluation process. This also made me feel like I had like a financial buy-in. And I know that we're paying a tuition, but tuition is just what you're paying to have access to the information. It doesn't mean it gives you any kind of incentive or right just to be given the belt because you're paying for the tuition. And so I find that interesting that sometimes people have this idea that if you have a belt testing or a testing fee, then they should just bake it into the tuition. But if there's no evaluation or no assessment done, then basically that's what you're paying tuition for. You're paying for your belt. I like that there is a different style that's kind of set up off to the side that makes me really like put time and effort and dedication into really getting, I wanted to impress my instructor. I wanted to do everything right. And it made me become a better jiu-jitsu student because I had to prepare for that assessment or evaluation. Some places use like tournaments to do that as well too. And that's another form to do it as well. So maybe they make you enter into a tournament. So that's another form of a belt testing fee. It's just not going to your school. It's going to IBJJF or whatever organization that they're using. Now, if you feel like that your school charges some fees and the activities and things of that nature don't really make sense, then absolutely you need to evaluate if that school is going to be right for you. If you feel like that they make you do kind of arbitrary seminars, or they make you do these arbitrary evaluations that you don't find of value, 100% fine. Make your decision, move on, and go to another school. I think the only metric you can really use is a value. So I really do encourage you, if you're a student that's looking to train, or you're curious if this is an issue or not, is figure out what that process is. Some people are going to have very hard and fast rules with that, and some people are going to be a lot more loose with it. I think it's also up to each school however they want to run it. It's a free country. They can run the school the way that they want. I'm all about schools making money, because ultimately we need that access point to jiu-jitsu more, and we need more schools. Now, outside my blue belt, I wasn't charged any other belt testing fee. Everything else was the regular way. It was in-class assessment moving forward. And I think that's honestly because as you get higher up in jiu-jitsu, there's less and less ranks. So it's easier to evaluate blue belts than it is to evaluate white belts, because there's more white belts. And then it's easier to evaluate the blue belts to purple belts because there are less of them. So it becomes a little bit easier to do more in-class evaluation when it comes to that way. Now, by no means am I saying that if you do all of your stuff in an in-class evaluation, that is bad. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just sharing my experience. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you think it's okay if a school provides a lot of value at the event or the belt testing, that it's okay for them to charge? Or are you on the side that, hey, nope, no matter what, a school should never charge. They should just up their tuition fee. And if you guys could give me a little bit of reason why, besides just saying I would never do that, please let me know. I'd be very curious to hear your thoughts. So I can 100% see that if you don't have any kind of assessment or anything of value that you're paying a belt testing fee for or a belt fee for, how it can seem like a ripoff or that you're taking advantage of students. If you're literally not doing any extra service or any other event that you're putting on in order to get your purple belts, you have to pay me $100 or $50 for the belt or the administration fee. Yeah, I can 100% understand that. Just because a school has a testing fee does not equal means that they're always taking advantage of the students. Like I said, you could build that into the tuition, but there are other issues with that as well. Then you might be having to pay for something that you may not even actually ever use. Never even got to a belt testing fee and you just paid the higher tuition. You didn't even use that. So what would you rather have it baked into the tuition and you're paying that over and over again, no matter how many times you use it? Or would you rather just pay it for when you need it? Now, there's this kind of common term within the jiu-jitsu world called a McDojo. And so for some of you guys that don't know, a McDojo usually refers to a school who is like the McDonald's of jiu-jitsu. Basically, they're on every corner, they're on every block, and they're very cookie cutter and they're very standardized. Like you could go to McDonald's in one state and it's the exact same McDonald's in another state. They have the same menu, same thing. So it's very kind of cookie cutter, plug and play. That term gets thrown around a lot when a school has a belt testing fee. But I will tell you guys for a fact that there is a very reputable school that I know of that does testing and belt promotions like that and does evaluations and fees at each stripe of a student's journey and even at their belt. And if I told you who this was, you would not say that they run a McDojo. They are a very well known, very reputable school in the jiu-jitsu world, and they test at each stripe. Now, that may be because they have so many students and they want that quality of care, or they can definitely be abusing their students too. But make the association that because there's a fee or an issue, that makes them always a McDojo, I think is a little bit rash. To me, personally, I was never charged for a stripe. So to me, that seems a little bit excessive, especially if I know that I'm going to charge for a belt or a promotion. But once again, the business can run it the way that they want it. And the students might find out that that is very valuable for them, which is 100% fine and up to them. That's the awesome thing about consumerism. If you don't like it, people will stop buying it and it will take care of it themselves. And so that's really what I want to tell you as a student, is that you are really in the driver's seat and you're in the power. Don't let some internet schmuck like me always dictate what you do. You guys have the ability to make a decision. So ultimately, I have seen schools run it with very successful models in very different ways. And I've seen students be very happy at all those different models. I've seen students that absolutely hate the idea of there being belt testing fee, no matter how much value is provided, no matter how much is done for them. They will just never accept the belt fee being going forward. I think a lot of that does stem from sometimes traditional martial arts where you get like karate and taekwondo. I think jiu-jitsu is like very worried that they're gonna lose their way if they charge just for belt testing fee and it starts to shift more to that model. In my opinion, I've not seen it shift that drastically yet. Maybe you guys can inform me. Maybe I'm not as informed as I think I am. So if you can, please do that. That's going to wrap up the end of this video. Thank you guys for checking out the first video of 2024. I've just had a lot of those comments be sent to me here recently. I think this is a big time for promotions. So if you guys are interested, make sure you grab my free acceleration guide that's down on the bottom. It can kind of help you use your training environment a little bit more seamlessly and easily. And until the next one, I'll see you guys later.